Okay, so today we're going to do what I think should be a quick, simple fix on this yard machine lawnmower. And you'll see the problem right there. The pull cord broke. So let's get into it. Alright though, before we get into it, let's take a look at the model number. Alright, there it is. MTD. Alright, first thing we're going to do is take this cover off. It looks like there's two screws here. They're Phillips. And that just takes that cover off. And we got a little bit of schmutz to clean up. Alright, now the next thing that we're after, there are 3 hex head nuts here, here, and here. And those are usually 5/16. And these are little shoulder bolts, so they're kind of special. Hang on to them. And now this whole part kind of pivots. It's the gas tank and everything. It pivots back. But underneath here you want to make sure that it does put a little pressure on the fuel line. Make sure the fuel line doesn't come disconnected. And this is what I mean by that. So the fuel line's connected right there on the gas tank and it goes to the carburetor. So sometimes you might have to take that off if it's not quite long enough to tilt this bit back. And another 5/16 nut right there that holds the oil dip tube in place, so we'll have to take that off. Alright, I see this particular recoil, it's riveted on right here, so that means we're going to have to take this whole thing off to get to the recoil spring underneath. It's also a shoulder bolt. And what that does, it allows you to let me get the camera down closer. So you have to take that little bolt out. You can lift this up ever so slowly because it's held in place down here, just pressed in place, and there's an O-ring. But if you lift it up a little bit and then just twist it out of your way like so, and hopefully you're not leaking oil down there. Now we're going to work on, there's 2 bolts here and there's 2 bolts, one there and one there, usually 3/8. Alright, these are the bolts from the back. And these are the bolts from the front. Now, this should lift right off. A little bit of there's a bit of a bracket here that has a little bump out that's just pressing on it, but we should, there we are. And now we can access the recoil. Alright, so let's take a closer look at where the rope broke. it actually broke right there on the end. So in reality, we may not have to replace the rope. We just gotta refeed it, put a new knot in it, and use the same one. Alright, so I'm looking over this rope, and it's actually in really good condition. Like I said, except for the very end where it got broken. So what I'm going to do, the little side cutters here, cut off the funky end, and I got a torch here. And I'm going to keep that end from fraying, but I also want it relatively smooth so that when I feed it back into the recoil mechanism, it doesn't hinder the process. Alright, so with the recoil here, this is where the rope is going to go back in, and on this side it's going to have to line up with this hole right here. And so the bit, the tricky bit is to put it in this hole here and have it come out of that hole there, and then put the knot in it. Alright, like that. However, you notice there's no tension. So before we can do that, take the rope out, and then we're going to start turning this counterclockwise, and the spring is going to start pushing back. And what I usually do is to have a screwdriver handy, and I keep winding this up all the way. It's going to get tighter and tighter. And now when it gets about as tight as you think it's going to go, don't force it past a stopping point. Still going. Alright, this is where it might come in handy to give yourself a break and just put the screwdriver in there and hold it in place. Now once again, kind of line up that hole here with this hole here. And so while holding it, I'll take the screwdriver out. And that's it. Ooh, I almost lost it. Okay, that's pretty tight. I don't think I want to go any further than that. So let's figure out where our, okay, that's where our outer hole is. And that's right, inner hole is, it's almost too much. Right there I'm feeling the spring is as tight as it's going to get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it off one revolution. To where those two holes are lined up again, right here. And to help out, we'll put the screwdriver in the hole. Now we'll take the end of our cord, get it through both holes here. Alright, there we go, we did it. Pull a little bit out with the screwdriver, lock it up, and then just a simple, like sort of like an overhead knot, what I do is I go through the loop twice, like so. Oh yeah, there you go. I do that again for you on camera. It's basically an overhead knot like that, but then I go around back through the loop one more time. Doesn't have anything to be fancy. And there we go. Now we pull this through and hang on to the rope. You're going to pull the screwdriver out. And now as you release this, it'll roll up and take the cord with it. And there it is. Let's go put it back on the mower. Alright. The magnet is holding it here. Let's get everything lined back up. There we go. Sirens all over today here. I live near a hospital, so that's expected. Okay, just snug them up. And let's put the oil fill tube back in place. Use the 5/16. Put the other 3 5/16 back in place. Go. Now the handle has to come through here. Helicopters, fire trucks, ambulances, is that a word? Ambulances. They're all over the place. Alright, now one final thing is this has to be up by the handle, and so we're going to pull that up and lock it in place up there. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Sorry if it wasn't on camera. That shouldn't be there. It's got to be up by the handle. Alright, see the pull cord sits on this little grommet here. So what we want to do is loosen that a little bit. There we are. And then we're going to pull the bail down. That will release the engine brake. And now we can pull the cord slowly and put it back in here and untighten this up. we have just successfully fixed the recoil starter cord. So let's see if this lawnmower will start. Full of gas. Good oil level. Let's give it a prime and give it a pull. There we go. One recoil fixed on a yard machine lawnmower with a Briggs and Stratton engine. Thanks for watching.